This is a recording of some positions from the Wild West 25 Shootout 2025 that was in Denver, and I decided as sort of a highlight reel to look at positions that took me a minute or so to come up with my move as examples of things that were maybe more challenging to think about. So for this one, it's clear that I should hit on the blot on my 3-point. It's just not super clear what I should do after that. If I play the other alternative for the 3 would be to play 16 to 13, and then you have to do something else with the 4. It's not clear what the something else with the 4 would be. So it's that sort of by process of elimination, your best 3 is to hit. Then it's either you can bring another checker down because you're kind of going into blitz mode, or you can bring another checker in so you have a second direct cover. Bringing the second checker in means that you have, I've already got 3 blots on the other side of the board, and then putting the second one off of the 8-point would mean that I had 2 blots on my side of the board, so 5 blots total, which is a lot, but bringing one down also gives me 5 blots total, so it was hard to decide. So anyway, next one, this is from my match against Brett Hims. So rolled a 4-3 and not super clear what to do with that. So it's I can run 1 around the corner from his 18-point. That's what I'm looking at here. And that is somewhere on the list, I'm sure. 18 to 11. It's only a 0.04 error, so that's not so bad. So put that back. Then look at slotting 2. And so I went with the running around the corner. So then third one is from my match against Don Merrick. So rolled a 6-4 here, and I've got 1 checker. The orientation keeps changing. The rest of these are on my board, so that is coming out with the 6. And then you have to think of what to do with the 4. So just dump 1 behind with the 4. Coming out was clear. That was the absolutely mandatory, but I'm putting it back to look at it again because, you could do something else. You could hit. It turns out that hitting is a pretty disastrous mistake. So that one I fortunately avoided. But, I did at least look at the alternative of doing something that's a triple blunder. Put that back and just dump 1 behind. So there you go. And here's the next one. This is also from that match against Don. So several games later, got a 3-1 to play. The 3 can cover the point on the 3-point, and then what do you do with the ace? And it's not clear to me what the right ace is. So 13 to 12 has got value because it gives you it's another blot, but they're both out of direct range, and he then has to give up the anchor to hit either of them. But you do have the alternative of doing something like clearing the 7-point, which I'm presumably thinking about, although I haven't actually shown any inclination to move that as of yet. So I'm thinking, and now I'm going to commit because I decide to clear the 7, so darn. Next one is from my match against John Rockwell, which was the first match of the actual ABT event. So 6-4, the unfortunate thing is the 4s are blocked off the midpoint. So then the question is, you can play the 6 off the midpoint, but if you run one around, kind of place it right in front of him, that's not bad. It kind of leaves him with possible hit, but fairly minimal number of hits, and it's good for the race, as they say. Coming out with both is not ideal, because then you've got one that's in direct range and a second that can be easily picked up, but it just increases the number of times that you get hit in that outside shot. So looking at it, and again, I don't actually remember how it did. Oh, it looks like I commit to the right move. Yay. So now we move on to my match against Ray Fogerland, where I've got a couple of positions. So this was a double 4s. And the reason it took me a long time to play it was just because there's a lot of alternatives. So the first 4 came in off the bar. That one is clear. After coming in, then, there's a bunch of other things you could do. So, I instinctively said, let's look at covering the 5 point, but then I put it back on the grounds of don't just do anything super hastily. And then, the alternatives just kind of keep piling up. So that's 2, 3. I would have one more to play if I do it this way. So I'll take that back and look at the switching play. It's a possibility. It's not great. But, you got to look at all your alternatives. That's 3, and then I need to find one more. So the right one is to slot. Yay. Okay, so... And now here's another position from that same match. This is only a couple of moves later. Another double 3s. And the right idea is to just go ahead and run out. But, the first thing I'm seeing is that I can make the 18 point with 2 of them, and then look around for 2 others. So you can play the other 2 inside your home board, and that way you've got the bar point, and the bar point's a good blocking point. I'm substantially down in the race. Seems like I should want contact. I should want to stay back. I don't need the double anchor in his home board for it to be a kind of a good blocking structure. So it's so coming out with 2 seems pretty clear. But then what to do with the other 2, I just shift. So that was wrong. And now the last one, this is from my match against Bill Lonergan. So now I've dropped into the last chance. Got a 4-1 to play. It's not great. His structure is kind of insane here. He's got that huge stack on his 8 point. And the race is not so bad. So I think part of what I'm doing for all this time that I'm looking at it is just trying to figure out where the race is. I'm down 7 before the move, so I'm only down 2 after the move. And so it feels like, with so many checkers piled up, he's almost certain he's going to hit me if he can on this next move. So I feel like maybe I need to safety that blot on his 3 point. But that would be a big mistake because I need the contact. So, but that's what